According to the USDA, the cost of food at home in the United States has risen by more than 25% since 2020. But the reason so many families end up spending more isn't just because prices go up. It's because they don't buy until after the prices have already changed. That's why in today's video, we're going to look at 12 grocery items you should buy at Walmart before August 1st, 2026. What most people don't realize is that by the time a new price tag shows up on the shelf, the costs from farms, processing plants, and transportation have usually been building for the past 3 to 6 months. With around 255 million customer visits every week, Walmart has the advantage of keeping prices stable longer than many other retail chains because of its massive purchasing power. But even Walmart can't stay on the sidelines when rising costs work their way through the supply chain. Number 12. All-purpose flour. The last thing you'd expect to get more expensive. If I told you today that one of the grocery items most vulnerable to disruption is all-purpose flour, a lot of people probably wouldn't believe it, because that simple white bag of flour always fills an entire section of shelves at Walmart. There's so much of it that we've come to assume it will always be there. But that assumption is exactly what makes it so easy to overlook. What most people don't realize is that nearly every loaf of sandwich bread, hamburger bun, frozen pizza, cookie, pancake, pastry, dry pasta, and hundreds of other processed foods all begin with the same ingredient: flour. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, the average American consumes about 130 to 140 pounds of wheat products every year, or nearly 60 kilograms. That makes wheat one of the most important grains in the American diet. When the cost of this foundational ingredient goes up, the impact doesn't stop with a single bag of flour on the shelf. It spreads across countless other foods as well. That pressure has been building from several directions. Major wheat-growing states like Kansas, North Dakota, and Montana have faced repeated droughts, extreme weather, and rising production costs in recent years. At the same time, transportation, milling, and packaging costs have remained elevated. Early August is also when many manufacturers and retailers begin adjusting supply contracts for the second half of the year. That's why many retail experts recommend buying staple items before the next round of price adjustments becomes more visible on store shelves. This is also where Walmart's advantage comes into play. Thanks to its enormous purchasing power, bags of great value all-purpose flour are often priced lower per pound than at many other supermarket chains. But don't make the most common mistake: leaving the flour in the paper bag after it's been opened. Even a small amount of moisture can reduce its quality and create the perfect conditions for weevils to develop. Once you bring it home, transfer it to an airtight container and store it in a cool, dry place. If you want to store it even longer, you can keep the flour in the freezer for a few days before putting it away to help eliminate any insect eggs that may still be present. A bag of flour that costs just a few dollars may not be the most eye-catching item in your shopping cart today, but it just might be the one that helps you make the most meals over the months ahead. Number 11. Peanut butter. The one food that solves more meals than almost anything else in your kitchen. There's something interesting about American grocery stores. The expensive items are often locked behind glass, while one of the most versatile foods sits quietly on the shelf for just a few dollars. That's peanut butter. Most people think of it as nothing more than something to spread on bread. But in reality, you're not buying a jar of peanut butter. You're buying dozens of solutions to the question every family asks over and over again: what's for dinner? According to the USDA, about 90% of American households buy peanut butter, and the average American consumes around 7 pounds of it each year. Just 2 tablespoons provide about 7 to 8 grams of protein, along with unsaturated fats, vitamin E, and magnesium. One large 40-ounce jar can make more than 70 servings, enough to pair with bread, oatmeal, bananas, apples, crackers, smoothies, or even as the base for sauces in a variety of meals. Very few foods at Walmart can stretch into that many meals at such a low cost. That's also why many families choose to stock up before August begins. Even though the United States is one of the world's largest peanut producers, with most production concentrated in Georgia, Alabama, Florida, and Texas, the industry is still under pressure from higher fertilizer, fuel, labor, and transportation costs. As new supply contracts for the second half of the year take effect, prices for many peanut-based products can be adjusted even if the growing season goes smoothly. Walmart usually has an advantage because of its enormous purchasing power, especially with great value natural peanut butter, where the price per ounce is often noticeably lower than smaller jars or national brands. The most common mistake is looking only at the shelf price while ignoring the price per ounce listed on the label. Just a few seconds of comparison can save you a surprising amount of money if your family buys it regularly. Another thing many people don't know is that the layer of oil floating on top of natural peanut butter is not a sign that it's gone bad. It's simply natural oil separation because the product contains fewer stabilizers. Just stir it well and store it in the refrigerator, and the flavor will stay more consistent for months. An unopened jar of peanut butter will usually maintain its quality for 12 to 24 months when stored in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight. Once opened, it's best to use it within about 2 to 3 months at room temperature, or within 6 to 9 months if refrigerated, to help slow oil oxidation and keep the flavor fresh longer. Some foods only help you make one meal, but peanut butter gets you through dozens of rushed mornings, lunches you didn't have time to prepare, and those days when you open the kitchen cabinet with no idea what to cook. That's why the real value of a jar of peanut butter has never been the few dollar price tag. It's the number of times it quietly helps put a quick, satisfying, and budget-friendly meal on the table for the whole family. Number 10. Pasta. One box, dozens of different dinners. A box of pasta that costs only about $1 to $1.50 doesn't make your meals feel cheap. Instead, it lets one simple ingredient turn into dozens of different dinners. That's why pasta has been a staple in American kitchens for generations, without ever going out of style. According to the National Pasta Association, Americans consume billions of servings of pasta every year, and it remains one of the most common dry pantry staples in American households. One 16-ounce box can make about 8 side servings or 4 to 6 main course servings, depending on how it's prepared. Simply changing the sauce gives you a completely different dinner. Tonight it might be tomato sauce with ground beef. Tomorrow it could be creamy Alfredo with chicken. Over the weekend, all you may need is olive oil, garlic, and a little Parmesan cheese. It's the same box of pasta, but every meal tastes different. What makes pasta so highly valued by many food experts isn't just its low price, it's also its shelf life. Because it has very little moisture, dry pasta can maintain its quality for 2 to 3 years, or even longer if it's stored in an airtight container in a cool, dry place. It's one of the very few foods you can buy today and almost forget is sitting in your pantry until the day you actually need it. That's also why many people choose to stock up before August begins. Durum wheat, the primary ingredient used to make pasta, depends on harvests in North America and major exporting regions such as Canada. Weather fluctuations, along with higher milling, energy, and transportation costs, can continue putting upward pressure on the price of wheat-based products during the second half of the year. Thanks to its enormous purchasing power, Walmart usually keeps competitive prices on great value pasta, especially popular varieties like spaghetti, penne, and elbow macaroni. The most common mistake is opening the box and leaving the pasta in its original paper or cardboard packaging. It only takes a little moisture or a few insects to significantly reduce its quality. Once opened, transfer the pasta to an airtight container or jar and keep it in a cool, dry place. Another helpful tip is not to cook the entire box if you have a small household. Cooked pasta can be stored in the refrigerator for about 3 to 5 days, making it easy to prepare multiple meals ahead of time and save a considerable amount of cooking time during the week. Some foods make you wonder what you're going to eat today. A box of pasta does the opposite. It doesn't decide your dinner for you. It gives you dozens of different possibilities, so no matter how your budget changes, your family can still gather around a hot meal. Number 9. Butter, a flavor you can't replace. Now slow down for a moment as you walk past the refrigerated dairy aisle. Look at those familiar 4-stick packs of butter. Picture a quiet morning, the sound of a stick of butter hitting a hot pan, melting into a rich, buttery aroma, or the way it melts into a slice of warm toast in your hands. There are plenty of cheaper options sitting right beside it, like margarine and butter blends. But for people who have spent years in the kitchen, real butter will always hold a place that nothing else can replace. Unlike pasta, which is valued for quantity, butter is valued for quality. Just a small amount of real butter stirred into a bowl of mashed potatoes can completely transform the flavor of the entire meal. It's that natural richness and texture that people who love to cook simply don't want to give up. But producing 1 pound of butter requires more than 21 pounds of fresh, whole milk. That concentrated ratio is why butter prices closely follow every shift in the U.S. dairy market. As overall dairy production costs continue rising during the second half of the year, the price of real butter on store shelves usually responds very quickly. Fortunately, Walmart uses its enormous purchasing power to keep great value real butter priced extremely competitively and consistently compared to many other supermarket chains. The best part is that butter freezes exceptionally well. If you buy Walmart's great value unsalted butter now, while prices and supplies are still favorable, place it straight into the back of your freezer. It can stay there for 6 months to a year without losing its original texture or flavor once it's thawed. It's a smart way to prepare for future baking, or simply to make sure you're always ready for family meals. The only mistake is leaving butter in the refrigerator door for too long, where it can easily absorb odors from the foods around it. Start storing your butter properly in the freezer today. Then, when you need it, all you'll have to do is take out a stick of butter instead of standing in front of the dairy case, looking at the new price tag and wondering whether you should buy it. Number 8. Extra virgin olive oil, 1 bottle for hundreds of meals. Picture a stream of golden oil with a faint green glow, quietly drizzled over a fresh family salad, or giving roasted chicken and vegetables a beautiful finish as they come steaming out of the oven. That's extra virgin olive oil. Unlike butter, which is prized for its rich, immediate flavor, olive oil is a long-term investment in your health. 1 large bottle of quality olive oil becomes a quiet companion, showing up in hundreds of family meals throughout the season while helping support the heart health of the people you love. The high price of olive oil on store shelves isn't random. It's the direct result of 3 consecutive poor harvests across the Mediterranean caused by extreme weather. You should know that Spain alone produces about 40% of the world's olive oil. When this global olive oil powerhouse goes through prolonged drought, the entire worldwide supply chain immediately feels the shortage. As these cost pressures continue working their way into price adjustments during the second half of 2026, quality olive oil is likely to become one of the grocery items you'll notice the most in your budget. At Walmart, your biggest advantage comes from the company's enormous purchasing power. Because of that scale, The Great Value brand is one of the few places where you can still find quality extra virgin olive oil at a very competitive price per ounce, compared with traditional supermarket chains. The biggest mistake people make when buying this product is looking only for the words olive oil while overlooking the two words that matter most: extra virgin. Oils labeled only pure or light have typically been heat processed, stripping away much of their natural antioxidants. A smart Walmart shopping strategy is to head straight for the large bottle of Great Value extra virgin olive oil. Check the label to make sure it's cold-pressed, and store it deep inside a cool, dark pantry to protect it from heat and oxidation. Make this investment before August 1st. Then, every time you open that bottle over the months ahead, all you'll have to think about is enjoying healthier meals, not wondering whether the price on the shelf has gone up again. Number 7. Whole bean coffee. A statement that starts your day. Some people won't talk to anyone before they've had their first sip of coffee in the morning, and there's nothing strange about that. For millions of people, coffee is no longer just a drink. It's part of who you are. That cup of coffee represents the only 5 quiet minutes you may get all day. A precious pause before the house wakes up and the alarm clock's relentless rhythm pulls you into another busy day. But that unshakable daily ritual is facing growing challenges. Take a look at this number. Brazil and Vietnam alone account for about 55% of the world's total coffee production. When both of these key growing regions are hit by prolonged, severe droughts at the same time, global green coffee inventories immediately fall to record lows. Tight supplies of raw coffee beans, combined with persistently high ocean shipping costs, have driven coffee futures sharply higher, meaning the bags of coffee on store shelves will likely be getting new price tags during the second half of 2026. In Walmart's coffee aisle, the smartest place to look is usually the large 2 to 3 pound bags under the Great Value brand. Instead of picking up smaller packages, choosing these larger sizes helps you get the lowest possible price per ounce, giving you a better value before August 1st. Don't buy pre-ground coffee just to save a few seconds with the scoop. Once coffee is ground, exposure to air quickly strips away its flavorful, aromatic oils. People who truly appreciate coffee almost always choose whole bean coffee. Whole beans act as a natural protective shell. Once you bring them home, divide the beans into airtight containers or vacuum-sealed bags and place them directly in the freezer. Each week, simply take out enough to grind for the days ahead, keeping the rest as fresh as possible. Preparing ahead like this lets you hold on to your daily routine without worrying about changing numbers on your grocery bill. So tomorrow morning, you'll still be exactly who you are when you wrap your hands around that familiar mug and enjoy your coffee with the clarity and peace you've always counted on. Number 6. Eggs. The invisible measure of your grocery budget. There's a strange habit that's incredibly common in American grocery stores. When people walk into the food section at Walmart, many of them don't check the price of ground beef first. They don't check the price of milk first either. They look at the price of eggs. No food in America serves as a clearer psychological indicator than eggs. You may not even notice when a box of cereal goes up by a few cents. But the moment a carton of eggs jumps by $1, you immediately feel the pressure building on your monthly grocery bill. People look at egg prices to gauge whether this month's household budget is still manageable. When egg prices stay steady, we feel reassured. When they start climbing, it's often the first sign that it's time to tighten the family budget. Every egg resting neatly in that cardboard carton is actually the end result of a supply chain under constant pressure. During the most recent outbreaks of bird flu in the United States alone, more than 40 million laying hens had to be culled to help contain the disease. That sharp reduction in the nation's egg-laying flock combined with higher feed costs, has continued putting enormous pressure on the country's egg supply. Walmart has worked hard to keep great value eggs priced as competitively as possible. But as existing supply agreements come to an end before August 1st, the price tags in the refrigerated section are likely to see more changes heading into the busy season. Don't buy dozens of cartons and cram your refrigerator full just because you're thinking about long-term storage. Fresh eggs have a relatively short shelf life, and their quality declines quickly when temperatures fluctuate. The smartest approach is to take advantage of today's prices and keep just enough eggs on hand for about 3 weeks of normal use. Focus on great value large 18-count cartons to get the best everyday value. Eggs are the ingredient that ties so many meals together, from a quick breakfast omelet to pancakes for the kids to a comforting pot of braised meat for dinner. Stop by Walmart's refrigerated aisle this week. Take a look at the price tag and place a fresh carton of eggs in your cart. As long as that number on the shelf hasn't changed, you've found one more source of peace of mind for your family's grocery budget. Number 5. Ground beef. When time can't be bought with money, you can build another factory and run production around the clock to make millions of boxes of pasta in just a few days. But you can't make a cow carry a calf for 9 months, or make that calf reach maturity in 2 years any faster, not even by a single second. The heart of this chapter isn't about price. It's about one simple truth: time. The shortage of this American staple comes down to a number that catches almost everyone by surprise. The U.S. beef cattle herd has fallen to its lowest level since 1951. Years of extreme weather have scorched pastures across the western United States, pushing many ranchers to the breaking point and forcing them to sell off their breeding herds because they could no longer afford the costs. That supply gap is a deep wound that will take years to heal. That's why the ground beef on store shelves is likely to remain under significant pressure for a long time. When you walk into Walmart's meat department, the most practical choice is the large, great value family pack trays. Choosing these larger packages almost always gives you a lower price per pound than the smaller pre-packaged options, helping you manage your grocery budget more efficiently. Don't make the mistake of throwing the entire foam tray straight into the freezer. Ice crystals can darken the meat and damage its natural flavor. A favorite trick among experienced American home cooks is to divide the meat into meal-sized portions by flattening each one inside a zip-top freezer bag with the palm of your hand. This not only removes excess air to help prevent freezer burn, but also lets the meat thaw much more quickly whenever you're ready to use it. Fill a corner of your freezer with quality ground beef portions this week. Then, when those weekend family gatherings roll around and the sound of burgers sizzling on the grill fills the air, you'll be able to enjoy every moment with the people you love instead of worrying about what changed on the supermarket shelves. Number 4. Canned chicken. The quiet backup. Your kitchen can always count on. If your freezer suddenly loses power one day, or the fresh meat section at the grocery store is completely empty, what food will save your family's dinner? The answer isn't found in the neatly packaged trays of fresh meat. It's tucked away in a much quieter corner of Walmart's dry goods aisle: canned chicken breast. The truth is, many people pick up a can because they're looking for a quick meal on a lazy day, but end up buying an entire multi-pack after discovering one unique advantage that no fresh meat can compete with: complete independence. Simply put, this is the food that frees you from depending on a refrigerator or a hot stove in the middle of summer. Just look at the numbers. 112, 5-ounce can of great value chicken breast contains about 60 grams of protein while naturally offering a shelf life of up to 5 years. It sits reliably in your pantry through every season unaffected by power outages, an overstuffed refrigerator, or stormy days when you can't leave the house, becoming one of the strongest backups your family can have for dependable nutrition. When experienced American home cooks shop Walmart's canned food aisle, they almost never buy just one can at a time. They go straight for the 4-pack or 6-pack multi-packs. Putting an entire pack into your cart is one of the fastest ways to lower the cost per serving, turning it into a remarkably smart investment for your grocery budget. Don't think of canned food as a last resort when you've run out of ideas. It's actually a shortcut to putting together a quality meal in less than 3 minutes, without thawing, cutting, cooking, or shredding meat. Just open the can, mix it with a little mayonnaise and chopped celery, and you've got a rich filling for a lunchtime sandwich, a protein boost for a fresh salad, or something you can pour straight into a pot of broth for a comforting bowl of chicken soup at dinner. Set a multi-pack of canned chicken breast in the back of your pantry this week. Then, on a busy day, or whenever you don't feel like cooking, all you'll have to do is open the pantry door, pop the lid on a can, and enjoy a satisfying meal that's ready with almost no effort. Number 3. Canned tuna. A reliable anchor for your grocery budget. This small can of tuna has traveled much farther than most of us realize. When you pick up a can of great value tuna, you're holding one of the most sophisticated global logistics chains in your hands. Did you know that about 80% of the seafood consumed in the United States is imported? Behind this little can is a journey that begins with fishing fleets on distant oceans, passes through major processing and packing centers in places like Thailand and Ecuador, and ends on the shelf in your kitchen. People don't choose canned tuna because of those long ocean voyages. They choose it for a much more practical reason: complete reliability. At a time when fresh food prices can change quickly, this sturdy steel can become one of the safest sources of protein you can have. With a natural shelf life of 3 to 5 years, it completely protects its omega-3 rich fish from light and air. It sits quietly in your pantry, never asking for refrigerator space, never worrying about a power outage, always ready to save your family's dinner whenever you need it. In Walmart's canned food aisle, great value canned tuna is a favorite among practical shoppers who usually buy it in 4 or 8 can multi-packs. Buying the larger multi-packs gives you the lowest price per ounce, making it one of the most affordable sources of seafood protein you can buy. Don't spend hours cooking when you don't have to. The greatest strength of canned tuna is speed. The only trick you need to remember is to drain the water or oil before using it. Just open the can, mix it with a little mayonnaise, and you've got a rich filling for a cold pasta dish, a sandwich, or a topping for a fresh salad. Everything has already been cleaned and prepared for you. No fishy smell, no prep work. Some days, work leaves you with no time or energy to cook. That's when this little can waiting in your pantry has already done the hard part for you. Stock a few multi-packs of tuna in your pantry this week, and you'll always have a dependable source of nutrition for your family, no matter how busy tomorrow becomes. Number 2. White rice. The foundation of every kitchen. There's one food so simple that we often forget it's even there, yet it's the very foundation that keeps the entire kitchen going. Rice. Think about it. There isn't another ingredient in the world that pairs as effortlessly with almost every meal as a bowl of white rice. Rice doesn't compete with ground beef for attention, and it doesn't overpower the richness of eggs. It quietly serves as the foundation that brings every other ingredient together, turning even the simplest foods into a complete, comforting dinner. The heart of a bag of rice can be summed up in one word: foundation. During times of rising living costs, rice is one of the strongest safety nets for protecting your grocery budget. Just look at the numbers. A large 20-pound bag of rice at Walmart can provide about 180 to 220 servings, bringing the cost of each meal down to just a few cents. With a naturally long shelf life, that large bag quietly sits in the corner of your pantry like a dependable promise that your family will always have something to eat, without needing a single watt of electricity from the refrigerator. Don't make the mistake of thinking rice is only for freshly cooked meals. Experienced home cooks know the secret is to make a large batch at the beginning of the week, divide it into portions, and store it in the refrigerator as the foundation for quick meal prep. Chilled rice becomes firmer overnight, making it perfect for fried rice with eggs or a comforting bowl of rice soup in less than 5 minutes. As long as there's still rice in your family's pantry, you'll always know you can put together a complete meal whenever you need one. Number 1. Honey. A drop of time that lasts forever. We'll end this journey with a food that time itself can hardly conquer. Honey. It's not the most expensive item on the shelf, but it may be the one with the greatest lasting value that nature has ever given us. Those smooth, golden drops are, in many ways, an everlasting legacy. Archaeologists have discovered jars of honey more than 3,000 years old inside ancient Egyptian tombs. And remarkably, they were still perfectly edible after all those millennia without a single artificial preservative. If, after storing it for a long time, you notice tiny sugar crystals forming at the bottom of your jar of honey, don't throw it away. That's not a sign it's gone bad. It's actually a sign that you have real, natural honey. Simply place the jar in a bowl of warm water for a few minutes, and the crystals will gradually dissolve, leaving the honey smooth and golden once again. Some foods simply fill your stomach today. Others help stretch your grocery budget this month. But honey is one of the very few foods that reminds us that wise, lasting choices in the kitchen can stay with us and help care for our families for many years to come. In the end, what matters isn't buying more. It's buying the right things at the right time. A well-prepared kitchen doesn't just help you save money, it also gives you the flexibility to handle changing prices and shifting supplies. Hopefully, today's list will help you make smarter choices the next time you shop at Walmart. What about you? Out of these 12 items, which one is always in your shopping cart? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.